diving deep into this whole 5 a.m. club thing, we've got a really interesting set of excerpts here, about how waking up before the sun even thinks about rising can like totally supercharge your life. Yep. Apparently, this is like the secret sauce for entrepreneurs, CEOs, those high achievers, But is there something in this for the rest of us? Is it just another one of those hype things, or is there real practical stuff we can use? What's the story here? Let's find out.
Well, yeah. It's kind of wild how these excerpts we're looking at, they don't just lay things out like a lecture, They actually tell a story. It's like almost like a parable for the modern age or something.
Right.
And it's got all these interesting characters, struggling artists, these mysterious mentors. There's even like a homeless guy with like crazy wisdom.
Yeah, no, for real. And it all starts with this entrepreneur, right? Her business is a hot mess. She's stressed out, feels totally lost, the whole 9 yards. She's desperate, so she's like, why not? Ends up at this seminar.
Oh, I know this part.
Led by this like enigmatic guru dude they call the Spellbinder.
Okay, yeah, the Spellbinder.
And she's totally skeptical at first. I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right.
But there's also this part of her that's like, maybe this guy has something figured out. It's kind of like, how we're approaching this whole thing. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
A healthy dose of curiosity and a willingness to kind of see where things go.
Exactly. Now, she's not the only one at this seminar. There's this artist, too, struggling with some serious creative blocks, and they're both drawn to the Spellbinder's message. They're both looking for that key to unlock their potential.
Yeah, that aha moment.
Exactly. And then out of nowhere, this homeless man just kind of, appears and drops this bombshell about how our obsession with distractions is like the root of all our suffering. It's like he's pointing out this massive blind spot, something we don't even realize is holding us back from living a truly fulfilling life.
I remember you highlighted that passage. It really struck a chord. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's so true, right? We're so caught up in the hustle, always chasing something, that we forget to just be present, to connect with ourselves,
It's like we're all addicted to the noise.
Yes. And this homeless man, he's like, hey, wake up. This isn't the way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What happens next?
Well, just as the Spellbinder is really getting fired up, talking about, striving for greatness and all that, he just collapses on stage.
Whoa.
What? Is he okay?
Total cliffhanger. Right. I know. But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember our insightful homeless guy?
Yeah.
He approaches the entrepreneur and the artist with this like totally unexpected offer. He's like, come with me to my private island.
Wait, hold up. His private island. This isn't Fantasy Island, is it?
Right. And they're thinking the same thing. Like, what is this, a prank? But there's just something about him, that quiet confidence.
Yeah, like an inner strength.
Exactly. It makes them want to trust him, even though it sounds completely bonkers.
Plus, let's not forget that super expensive watch he was wearing earlier.
Oh, yeah. He totally casually mentioned it was worth a fortune, which just adds another layer to this whole mystery.
For sure. So what do they say?
Well, they're hesitant, obviously.
It wouldn't be.
But also insanely curious. So, against their better judgment, they decide to go for it.
No.
Next thing you know, they're whisked away in a private jet.
Okay, this is getting good. Where are they going?
To some remote island off the coast of Cape Town.
No way. Talk about an adventure. Okay, so they're in this private jet, probably freaking out a little when suddenly.
Oh, yeah. And to make things even more interesting, the driver, as they're, flying over this breathtaking scenery, mentions that appearances can be deceiving. He's like, you've met a great man. Just drops that little bombshell and leaves them to ponder.
Oh, I see where this is going. It's like he's planting a seed of doubt, making them question everything.
Yeah.
So they land on this mysterious island. Then what?
Well, as if the private island wasn't enough, each of them gets a golden tablet. Like an actual engraved tablet.
Whoa. What's on the tablets?
5 rules. Cryptic, intriguing rules that seem to hold the key to this whole 5 a.m. philosophy.
Okay, you can't just leave us hanging like that. What are the rules?
Don't worry, we'll dive into those right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Okay, so golden tablets, cryptic rules. This is getting serious. It's like Indiana Jones meets, Tony Robbins or something. Where do these rules fit into the whole 5 a.m. club thing?
Oh, they're not just there for show. Think of them as like the foundation, the guiding principles. Each rule kind of hints at what the 5 a.m. club is all about.
Okay, you're killing me with the suspense. Rule number 1. What's the big reveal?
All right. Rule #1, engraved in gold, no less. An addiction to distraction is the end of your creative production. Empire makers and history creators take 1 hour for themselves before dawn in the serenity that lies beyond the clutches of complexity to prepare themselves for a world-class day.
Wow. So it's not just about waking up early. There's a whole philosophy behind it.
Totally. It's saying if you really want to get things done, to be creative, you got to ditch the distractions. And not just any time, but first thing in the morning, that quiet time before the world goes nuts.
Yeah, I can see that. When I actually managed to get work done early, before the emails start flooding in, it's like magic.
Exactly. You're tapping into that peak focus time. This first rule, it's really about making that a habit. Okay, rule #2, ready?
Hit me.
Excuses breed no genius. Just because you haven't installed the early rising habit before doesn't mean you can't do it now. Release your rationalizations and remember that small daily improvements, when done consistently over time, lead to stunning results.
No more excuses, I hear you. We all have them, right? I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
I work better under pressure.
Yeah, all those little stories we tell ourselves. This rule's all about ditching those stories and realizing, that anyone can change.
And that these small changes over time lead to huge results.
100%. Have you heard of the compound effect? There's this study that found even a 1% improvement every day adds up to almost 38 times the original result after a year. Crazy, right?
No way. It's like that saying, inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. Small, consistent actions. Okay, what about rule number 3? What's the wisdom?
World-class performance requires world-class recovery. Rest, rejuvenation, and playtime aren't luxuries. They are necessities.
Yes. Finally, permission to rest. We talk about this all the time.
All the time. This hustle culture can be brutal.
It's like everyone's trying to outbusy each other.
Yeah.
But taking care of yourself, recharging, it's not selfish, it's essential.
100%. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? This rule is a good reminder to build in those recovery periods. Okay, rule number 4, brace yourself. This one's a bit of a wake-up call.
Okay, I'm ready. Bring it on.
To have the results only 5% have, you must be willing to do what only 5% will do.
So no pain, no gain.
In a nutshell, yeah. This one's about pushing past your comfort zone. Are you willing to put in that extra work, make those sacrifices that most people won't?
That's where the magic happens, though, right? I mean, anything worthwhile I've ever done, it's always pushed me outside my comfort zone. Okay, last but not least was rule number 5.
Live in a state of gratitude for everything you have and excitement for everything to come.
Love that. Gratitude and excitement, what a combo.
Right. It's about focusing on the good stuff, what you're thankful for, and approaching the future, with that sense of possibility, of excitement.
Powerful stuff. So these 5 rules, they're like a blueprint for personal transformation. Ditch the distractions, focus on small wins, prioritize recovery, embrace the discomfort of growth, and cultivate that positive mindset.
Exactly. And don't forget, our entrepreneur and artist got these rules while they were on their way to meet the man living this philosophy. Remember, the homeless guy who's not so homeless anymore.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah.
What happens when they actually meet him? This is getting good.
Well, as you can imagine, things are about to get very interesting.
Okay, so they finally get to the island, this tropical paradise. And who's there to greet them? But the homeless man. Except not so homeless anymore, right?
Right. No more rags and shopping cart. He's this tanned, fit, glowing picture of success. Mr. Riley, they call him. Owns the whole island. Can you imagine? Talk about your unexpected plot twists. It's like they stepped into a whole other dimension.
Seriously, it's like he's this living, breathing example of those 5 rules. But why go through all this? Why stage this whole elaborate thing?
Because he sees something in them. Remembers back at the seminar how they were both searching for something more. Yeah. Recognizes that. He knows they have potential, but they got to see it for themselves, right?
Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going.
It's not just about giving them the rules. It's about showing them, that a different life is possible, that true success.
Mm-hmm.
It's an inside job.
Love that.
Yeah.
So what happens? They just hang out on the island, soaking up the wisdom and the sunshine?
Not exactly. Mr. Riley, he's all about taking action. He introduces them to his morning routine, the one that helped him build this whole empire, calls it the 20-20-20 formula.
20-20-20. Sounds kind of intense, like a vision test.
Well, it's intense, but in a good way. So the first 20 minutes, right when you wake up, 0.5 a.m. sharp. That's for intense exercise.
Whoa. No easing into the day for this guy.
No way. He's all about getting that heart rate up. Running HIIT workouts. Anything that floods your system with those feel-good endorphins, it's not just about physical energy either. It primes your brain for peak performance all day long.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I manage to squeeze in a workout before everything gets crazy, I swear I'm like 10 times more productive.
Exactly. And what's cool is there's actual science behind it. This isn't just some motivational mumbo jumbo. But hold on, because the next 20 minutes are totally different.
Okay, let me guess. Meditation, green smoothies.
Close. It's all about reflection. Journaling, meditation, quiet contemplation. Remember how that first rule was all about escaping the clutches of complexity?
Yeah.
This is where that comes into play. It's about starting your day with intention.
So like setting goals, expressing gratitude, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Getting clear on your priorities before the world throws you a curveball. Mr. Riley, he's big on gratitude. He tells them to write down what they're grateful for every single morning. Says it shifts your whole perspective.
That's really powerful stuff. Okay, I got to know, what about the last 20 minutes?
All right, so from 5:40 to 6:00 a.m., it's all about feeding your mind. Think books, podcasts, anything that sparks your curiosity and helps you grow. Mr. Riley, he's a voracious reader, always emphasizing the importance of lifelong learning.
So it's not just about hustling and making money. It's about becoming a well-rounded human.
Right. He believes that knowledge is power and that the more you learn, the more opportunities open up for you.
I love that. This 20-20-20 formula, it's like a recipe for a successful life. It's not even about the time specifically. It's about the mindset, right?
100%. It's about taking control of your day, making time for what matters. But, and this is a big but, it's not always easy, you know. Waking up at 5 a.m., it goes against every instinct in your body, at least at first. That's where habit formation comes in. Mr. Riley, he breaks it down into 4 stages. Encoding, installation, integration, and then that magic moment, automaticity.
Automaticity. It's like your brain's on autopilot. So how do you actually get to that point?
Yeah.
I mean, most of us, we hit the snooze button like it's an Olympic sport.
Right. It's all about rewiring those neural pathways. But it takes time and consistency. Mr. Riley tells them the first 22 days, that's when it's the toughest. That's the encoding phase. Got to push through the resistance, even when every cell in your body is screaming for 5 more minutes.
Sounds brutal.
It can be for sure. But then, after those initial 22 days, something amazing happens. You enter the installation phase. That's when it starts to feel a little easier, a little more natural.
Like you're actually becoming a morning person. So what, you just keep pushing through, and then one day you're waking up before your alarm, ready to conquer the world.
Basically, by day 45, you're in the integration phase. The new routine, it's starting to become automatic. You're not relying on willpower as much. It's becoming a habit.
Okay, so you're telling me if I can just white knuckle it for 45 days.
You're well on your way. And then around day 66, bam, you hit automaticity. It's like brushing your teeth. You just do it without thinking.
Wow. Okay, this whole 5 a.m. club thing is sounding more and more doable. It's not some magical superpower. It's about understanding the science of habit formation.
Exactly. And here's the best part. It's not all about discipline and pushing yourself to the limit. Mr. Riley, he's big on celebrating wins, no matter how small. He tells them, find what you enjoy, make it fun. Whether it's listening to your favorite podcast during your workout or treating yourself to an awesome breakfast after a week of early mornings, it's about finding what works for you.
I love that. Because let's be honest, if it feels like torture, you're not going to stick with it.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about personal success, right? Mr. Riley, he challenges them to take all this newfound energy and use it to make a difference in the world.
Yeah, he mentions the heroic human circle, right?
Exactly. It's about embodying those virtues like honesty, integrity, compassion, and service. It's about aligning your actions with your values, being the best version of yourself, for yourself and for others.
Wow, that's pretty inspiring. So after this island adventure, I bet they went on to do amazing things.
Right. And that's the beauty of this whole 5 a.m. club philosophy. It reminds us that we all have that potential for greatness within us. It's about mastering our minds, building those powerful habits, and ultimately creating the life we dream of.
So what do you say? Are you ready to give the 5 a.m. club a try? It's more than just a productivity hack. It's a recipe for a more intentional, fulfilling life. Let us know if you're up for the challenge.